When Ehud was dead, the children of Israel again did evil in the sight of the Lord. So the Lord...
I believe Ehud was one of their deliverers, right? I know Othniel was one. And I think Ehud was another. Ehud, the son of Gera, the Benjamite, left-handed man. I think he was one.
The Lord sold them into the hand of Jabin, king of Canaan, who reigned in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera, who dwelt in Harosheth-Hagoyim,
from the king of Moab.
And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord in Hazor. The commander of his army was Sisera, who dwelt in Harosheth-Hagoyim. And the children of Israel cried out to the Lord, for Jabin had 900 chariots of iron, and for 20 years he had harshly oppressed the children of Israel.
Okay, so these mini deliverers that are coming about to deliver the children of Israel from their oppressors after sinning, they are the judges. That's why the book is called Judges. At least that's what the commentary in my Bible is saying. These deliverers are the judges. So these names of people, right? It was talking about how the headings of judges have been very different than the previous books. Like this section is just titled Deborah, right? So these are all names of judges, right? We had Othniel, we had Ehud, we had Shamgar, now we have Deborah.
Now Deborah, a prophetess, the wife of Lapidath, was judging Israel at that time. And she would sit under the palm tree of Deborah between Ramah and Bethel in the mountains of Ephraim. And the children of Israel came up to her for judgment. Then she sent and called for Barak, the son of Abinoam, from Kedesh in Naphtali.
Not Barack Obama.
Has not the Lord God of Israel commanded? Go and deploy troops at Mount Tabor. Take with you 10,000 men of the sons of Naphtali and of the sons of Zebulun. And against you I will deploy Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude at the river Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hand.
And Barak
dang, so
said
Deborah
to her,
has some power.
At the river.
She's commanding armies and everything, right? It said, and I will deploy Sisera, the commander of Jabin's army, with his chariots and his multitude of the river Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hand. So, okay. Right? Because, I'm guessing people would think, women back then were not looked to as like someone who could have like a position of power and stuff like that. How they thought a certain way about certain things. But here we go. We have a woman who is a judge over the people and has the power to command the armies. So that's clearly not the case that they look down on women.
Jabin's army with his chariots and his multitude at the river Kishon, and I will deliver him into your hand.
How did she rise to that position? What does her husband do? Lapidoth. That's his name, right? Lapidoth.
And I will deliver him into your hand.
And Barak said to her,
If you will go with me, then I will go. But if you will not go with me, I will not go.
I will
see, so she's valuable. They want her.
Surely go with you. Nevertheless, there will be no glory for you in the journey you are taking, for the Lord will sell Sisera into the hand of a woman.
Then Deborah arose and went with Barak to Kedesh. And Barak called Zebulun and Naphtali to Kedesh. He went up with 10,000 men under his command, and Deborah went up with him. Now Heber the Kenite, of the children of Hobab, the father-in-law of Moses, had separated himself from the Kenites, and pitched his tent near the terebinth tree at Zaanaim, which is beside Kedesh. And they reported to Sisera that Barak, the son of Abinoam, had gone up to Mount Tabor. So Sisera gathered together all his chariots, 900 chariots of iron, and all the people who were with him, from Harosheth Hagoyim to the river Kishon. Then Deborah said to Barak,
Up, for this is the day in which the Lord has delivered Sisera into your hand. Has not the Lord gone out before you?
So Barak went down from Mount Tabor with 10,000 men
That's
following.
crazy how they think, right? It says up, for this is the day in which the Lord has delivered, past tense, Sisera into your hands. Has not the Lord gone out before you? Right? They haven't done anything yet, but they already believe that they have won. Like it's already done and settled. The Lord has delivered Sisera into their hands already. It's over. So what's to fear at that point? You have nothing to fear at that point because it's done. The battle is already won.
And the Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army with the edge of the sword before Barak. And Sisera alighted from his chariot and fled away on foot. But Barak pursued the chariots and the army as far as Harosheth Hagoyim. And all the army of Sisera fell by the edge of the sword. Not a man was left. However, Sisera had fled away on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said to him,
Turn aside, my lord. Turn aside to me. Do not fear.
And when he had turned aside with her into the tent, she covered him with a blanket.
Please, give me a little water to drink, for I am thirsty.
So she opened a jug of milk, gave him a drink, and covered him.
Stand at the door of the tent, and if any man comes and inquires of you, and says, Is there any man here? You shall say no.
Then Jael, Heber's wife, took a tent peg and took a hammer in her hand and went softly to him and drove the peg into his temple. And he went down into the ground, for he was fast asleep and weary. So he died. And then, as Barak pursued Sisera, Jael came out to meet him.
What?
Come, I will show you the man whom you seek.
And when he went into her tent, there lay Sisera, dead, with the peg in his temple. So on that day God subdued Jabin, king of Canaan, in the presence of the children of Israel. And the hand of the children of Israel grew stronger and stronger against Jabin, king of Canaan, until they had destroyed Jabin, king of Canaan.
Okay, that was kind of insane.
Then Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, sang on that day.
When leaders lead in Israel,
I want to know though, let me go back. Why did he run to that person's house? However, Sisera fled away on foot to the tent of Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. For there was peace between Jabin, king of Hazor, and the house of Heber the Kenite. And Jael went out to meet Sisera, and said to him, Turn aside, my lord, turn aside to me, do not fear me. And when he had turned aside with her into the tent, she covered him with a blanket, and then ended up killing him. Okay. Okay, so he was thinking it was a safe place for him, but it was not.
Then Deborah and Barak, the son of Abinoam, sang on that day.
When leaders lead in Israel, when the people willingly offer themselves, bless the Lord. Hear, O kings, give ear, O princes. I, even I, will sing to the Lord. I will sing praise to the Lord God of Israel. Lord, when you went out from Seir, when you marched from the field of Edom, the earth trembled and the heavens poured. The clouds also poured water. The mountains gushed before the Lord. This Sinai before the Lord God of Israel. In the days of Shamgar,
The mountains gushed before the Lord like volcano? Or are we talking about like a geyser or something like that? Like an eruption of some sort? And also, it's interesting how they designated, or they had a distinction between the heavens pouring and the clouds pouring, right? Because remember in Genesis, the waters above the firmament, there's waters up there, right? Remember the Hebrew cosmology. So, and the gates, the windows of heaven opened up, and the waters had fallen. That's what flooded the earth, right? So, the clouds poured water, and the heavens also poured water. Or I could be reading way too much into it, and they're just meaning the same thing. But it says the clouds also poured water, which is leading me to believe that that's what they're trying to get at. I don't think the Bible has any explanation for this. Nope. The earth trembled and the heavens poured. The clouds also poured water. The mountains gushed before the Lord. I'm guessing that's volcanoes.
son Anath, in the days of Jael, the highways were deserted, and the travelers walked along the byways. Village life ceased. It ceased in Israel until I, Deborah, arose, a mother in Israel. They chose new gods. Then there was war in the gates. Not a shield or spear was seen among 40,000 in Israel. My heart is with the rulers of Israel, who offered themselves willingly with the people. Bless the Lord. Speak, you who ride on white donkeys, who sit in judges' attire, and who walk along the road. Far from the noise of the archers, among the watering places, there they shall recount the righteous acts of the Lord, the righteous acts for his villagers in Israel. Then the people of the Lord shall go down to the gates.
Awake, awake, Deborah. Awake, awake, sing a song.
Arise, Barak, and lead your captives away, O son of Abinoam. Then the survivors came down, the people against the nobles. The Lord came down for me against the mighty. From Ephraim were those whose roots were in Amalek. After you, Benjamin, with your peoples. From Machir rulers came down, and from Zebulun those who bear the recruiter's staff. And the princes of Issachar were with Deborah. As Issachar, so was Barak sent into the valley under his command. Among the divisions of Reuben there were great resolves of heart. Why did you sit among the sheepfolds to hear the pipings for the flocks? The divisions of Reuben have great searchings of heart. Gilead stayed beyond the Jordan. And why did Dan remain on ships? Asher continued at the seashore and stayed by his inlets. Zebulun is a people who jeopardize their lives to the point of death. Naphtali also on the heights of the battlefield. The kings came and fought. Then the kings of Canaan fought in Taanach by the waters of Megiddo. They took no spoils of silver. They fought from the heavens. The stars from their courses fought against Sisera.
What does that mean? The kings came and fought. Then the kings of Canaan fought in Taanach by the waters of Megiddo. They took no spoils of silver. They fought from the heavens. The stars from their courses fought against Sisera. Courses meaning, like how, like if you do time-lapse photography, like you can see like the course of the stars and they always go in like a circular pattern. That's what it's talking about. But what is going on? What do you mean the stars fought?
Heavens. The stars from their courses fought against Sisera. The torrent of Kishon swept them away. That ancient torrent.
Guessing that's a river or something?
The torrent of Kishon, O my soul, march on in strength. Then the horses' hooves pounded, the galloping of his steeds. Curse Meroz, said the angel of the Lord. Curse its inhabitants bitterly, because they did not come to the help of the Lord.
Let me just check this out, this commentary this Bible has. Let's see if they can explain what's going on here.
To the help of the Lord against the mighty.
Whoops. Let's see if they can explain what's going on over here a little bit. The victory proper is now described in vivid terms. Yeah, very vivid terms. And a curse is pronounced on Meroz, a sight otherwise unknown. The stars themselves were fighting against Sisera, a vivid metaphor of God's intervention. The prose account says, because remember, this is a song, right? So it's not an actual account of what's going on. The Lord routed Sisera and all his chariots and all his army with the edge of the sword before Barak. The frantic pounding of the horses' hooves, their galloping, suggested the chaos caused by the waters of the river Kishon. The poem now Okay, did we get there? We didn't get there. So let's keep going.
Of the Lord, curse its inhabitants bitterly, because they did not come to the help of the Lord. To the help of the Lord against the mighty. Most blessed among women is Jael, the wife of Heber the Kenite. Blessed is she among women in tents. He asked for water, she gave milk. She brought out cream in a lordly bowl. She stretched her hand to the tent peg, her right hand to the workman's hammer. She pounded Sisera. She pierced his head. She split and struck through his temple. At her feet he sank. He fell. He lay still. At her feet he sank. He fell. Where he sank, there he fell dead. The mother of Sisera looked through the window and cried out through the lattice.
This is
Why is his chariot
pretty intense
so
song.
long in coming? Why tarries the clatter of his chariots? Her wisest ladies answered her. Yes, she answered herself. Are they not finding and dividing the spoil? To every man a girl or two. For Sisera, plunder of dyed garments, plunder of garments embroidered and dyed, 2 pieces of dyed embroidery for the neck of the looter. Thus let all your enemies perish, O Lord, but let those who love him be like the sun when it comes out in full strength.
So the land had rest for 40 years.
Yeah, because no one wants to go against Deborah, man. Nobody. She's kind of scary. All right, that's going to be it for chapter 5. Tomorrow, we are going to jump into chapter 6. Oh, come on. The Midianites oppress Israel. We just got rid of the Moabites. Now the Midianites. Ooh, and then we're going to talk about Gideon. The story of Gideon is really cool. So he's one of the judges as well. Okay. So basically we're seeing a pattern here. Israel falling into paganism and idolatry and some type of evil. Then they get oppressed by another king, and a deliverer rises and frees them. Then they fall again, and they get oppressed, and then a deliverer rises and frees them. And they fall again, and then they get oppressed, and then a deliverer rises and frees them. So when is Israel going to learn? How are they forgetting so easily? Why are they not passing this knowledge down through the generations? I don't know. Hopefully, we'll get an answer soon. So, tomorrow, not tomorrow because I'm going to be out of town. Wednesday, chapter 6. Hope to see you guys then. And we'll continue. Judges chapter 6 on Wednesday. All right? Take care, everybody. I'll see you guys then. Bye-bye.